I think everything is okay. Sorry. These kind of things are happening. There is always a connection error. Well, good afternoon again to everybody. You are at Zero Build Forum Year 20, session 123, which is Economic of Zero Energy Buildings. My name is Alper Doğruer. I am a commercial director of Ravago Building Solutions Turkey. I'm long-term in the sector. I'm working on energy efficiency more than 22 years. I'm a civil engineer. I spend most of my time to make awareness of the people about the energy saving. This is an international session, so the main language here will be English. The one who would like to follow in Turkish, there will be a simultaneous translation in the second link. You should follow the Streamline tool for the translation, but this session will be in English. Today, we are together with Professor Chihiro Shimizu. He's smiling because I already apologized him if I cannot pronounce his name correctly. Forgive me. And he said, Alper, you can call me if you like Hiro. It's more easy for you. So from now on, with his permission, I would like to call him Hiro. Professor Hiro will make a presentation for us about what is the economic value of green and case of green building in Tokyo. He is a professor in University of Tokyo and Nihon University. He is expert advisor of Statistic Commission in Japan and research affiliate of Center of Real Estate at Massachusetts Institute of Technology in USA. His areas of expertise are index theory, real estate economics, applied econometrics, and machine learning. Before joining Tokyo University, Mr. Hiro was professor at the Department of Economics, Ryutech University, and Institute of Real Estate Studies. Today, as we said, he will tell us the economic value. His presentation will be depending on the rapid economic growth that occurred in Japan in the 1950s and 90s, often scorned in comparison to the most industrial revolution economic growth in Britain, and it is associated environmental burden and the subsequent economic growth in other European countries. So his presentation will be roughly around 1 hour. We will listen to him, then he will stay with us with another 30 minutes to answer your questions. Mr. Hiro, please welcome, and the speech is yours. I think you are muted, if you can hear me. Your speaker is off. We cannot hear you. Your speaker is off. I think there is a problem with the microphone of Hiro. My colleagues are calling him now to inform.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes. Yes, okay. Now we can hear you. Yes. Please welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
We are listening to you now.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Alper. And okay, can you see my presentation slides?
Yes, excellent.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for our invitation to Zero Build Forum 2020. It is great honor for me to be here today. I'm Chihiro Shimizu, who is a professor at the University of Tokyo, Japan, and a research affiliate of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, in Boston, United States. Today, I would like to speak to you about the incentives on zero energy building construction in the market. The title, which is the economic value of green. I focused on economic premium in zero energy building. Oh, sorry. I have three major topics in my presentations: sustainability in building or property value, and the second, economic premium of green in property market. Third, sustainability in property market. There are 7 discussion points. Discussion 1, low carbon society and zero energy building, which is my motivation to do this related research. There are 4 discussion points in the topics in 2, economic premium with the green in property market. Okay. Discussion 2, first, investment value of the green building, and discussion 3, I focus on green building certificate. And discussion 4 and 5, this is the heart of my presentation. Economic premium in residential market and office market as a discussion 5. And the last one, I focus on the future interesting field related to this research. Discussion 3, resistance from earthquake, and discussion 7, focus on the climate change, especially for flood risk. And this is my latest book published in this year. The title, Property Price Index. Central Bank of Turkey invited me as a keynote speaker several years ago. I made a presentation about the official property price index. I'm not expert on engineering and architecture. I'm an expert on big data analysis or artificial intelligence or AI. I'm teaching mathematics and statistics for undergraduate students, and I also teaching big data analysis or AI or artificial intelligence. Before I joined to University of Tokyo, I was a professor at Institute of Real Estate Studies of National University of Singapore. At that time, I was teaching research method. It includes the big data analysis. However, I learned a lot from my colleague about the architecture and the engineering. There are a lot of the experts on the architecture and engineering at the National University of Singapore. And I also have a responsibility to improve official statistics at the Japanese government. Above all, I'm in charge of improving the Consumer Price Index or CPI and the System of National Account of the SNA. Housing services account for the largest weight in CPI, accounting for 10% of the SNA or national account. I have been doing research on measuring the value of property. The reason is that it's not only occupies a large weight of the CPI and SNA, but also includes challenges as research. This is because property has been said to be the most difficult object to measure in value in the field of the economic measurement. Additionally, the environment, which includes green, is also most difficult object to measure. I published this book with my friend in the United States. The editor of this book is Professor Ed Colson, who is a professor at Pennsylvania State University. I have a responsibility for the Chapter 7. I focus on the energy efficiency of green building market, the case of Japan. So let's start. First topic, sustainability in building or property value. This is my motivation to doing the research to challenge to estimate economic premium of zero energy building or green building. Everyone understands that importance of the realizing the low carbon society. It is anticipated that increasingly proactive effort will be undertaken on a global scale aimed at achieving a low carbon society. I'm sorry that Japan stated a position opposing the extension of the Kyoto Protocol in 2012. Kyoto Protocol to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which was first meeting for ESG environment sociology governance or SDGs. Japan led this meeting in 1997. One of the likely reasons is the impact of the nuclear accident caused by the Great East Japan earthquake in March 2011 has necessitated a major shift in energy policy in Japan. However, we Japanese are strongly aware of the importance of the realizing the SDGs or low carbon society. Why should we focus on green or zero energy building? We usually get a question from student or industries person. The property market and the construction or building sector play a major role in the realization of low carbon society. Initiatives on global scale towards the realization of low carbon societies are expected to be carried out increasingly activity in the future. In this situation, the role of zero energy buildings continue to rise. Green or zero energy buildings are buildings that compared with conventional buildings are equipped with performance to constrain the amount of the carbon-based compound generated through economic and other daily activities that take place within the building. Through the spread of the buildings equipped with this type of the performance, property owners and users are trying to fulfill a part of their responsibilities towards the realization of the low carbon societies. Thus, these buildings are very important in terms of the social and economic activities of companies and individuals. Responsible property investment led by United Nations, international organizations. United Nations construct the responsible property investing principle. Dr. Paul McManara in the United Kingdom. He is my long-term friend, led this project as a chair. This responsible investment, property investment, stated the building and the construction sector amount for nearly 40% of total energy-related CO2 emissions and 36% of the final energy use worldwide. Global building floor area is expected to double by 2050, driving energy demand and related greenhouse gas emissions for construction. Yet the building sector offers the largest cost-effective greenhouse gas GHG mitigation potential, with net cost saving and economic gains possible through implementation of the existing technology, policies, and building designs. This project led by United Nations financial initiatives. Drive in the responsible property investment, or RPI, by facilitating access of relevant information and best practice, and collaboratively develops the necessary tools to enable property investment and professionals to systematically apply and integrate ESG criteria into the investment and lending decisions, promotes and encourage RPI by collecting and providing evidence to show how it can protect or increase financial performance throughout the life cycle of building, while simultaneously reducing detrimental environment and social impact. We called it sustainability of the property value and building. Collaborate with policymakers, and I'm collaborating with the Ministry of the Land Infrastructure and Transportations, and Ministry of Finance and Cabinet Office, and the real estate investment community, especially for the public pension fund, and so on developing and establishing the appropriate policy and regulatory framework for RPI practice to grow. So, let's turn to the economic premium of the green in property market. This is my main presentation topic. Sustainability research in my specialized field. Sustainability research in real estate has reached a critical juncture. There are several good papers related to this topic. However, Miller 2008 and France First 2011. France First, who is a professor at the Cambridge University in United Kingdom. He's my long-term friend. And Einholz and Koch from the Amsterdam, and Quigley from the UC Berkeley. John Quigley, Professor John Quigley, was a leader in this field. Unfortunately, he passed away several years ago. And France also wrote some good papers in 2012. France and me focused on the Tokyo market, Tokyo residential market in 2016. Yoshida, who is a good professor from Pennsylvania State University in the United States, and me focus on the Tokyo office market. Today, I'll share my empirical result from these papers. However, these studies are also characterized by important limitations, specific sectors in the specific countries and over specific time frames. I don't know similar research from Turkey. So, and these research have several disadvantages. We could not reply to this question. What is the sustainability or resilience in the real estate market? These papers are focused on specific sectors, specific countries, and specific time frames. And we also hopes to understand whether or not our properties is environment friendly or sustainable could become a major investment risk. And good fund asset managers, famous asset managers, related to this sentence questions. In 2010, I will speak about this topic. Next slide, next topic, next slides. Okay. I usually got this question: why should we focus on green or zero energy building? So, after the global financial crisis, the world economy has undergone major structural adjustment. And now, we are facing the similar situations from COVID-19 shock. And a famous fund manager, asset manager from the UBS Asset Management in United Kingdom, my son is working at the UBS Asset Management. And the bank, he said property investment ran a number of things as a result of the financial crisis. He said they have to select the property very carefully for investing. They investing for targeting in the area, just area, city, office market, in city, in London, and condominium investment in Manhattan, in New York. It's not enough. They have to pick up the good properties in these areas. And he also said, whether or not a property is environmentally friendly or sustainable could become a major investment risk in 2010. I introduced these stories at my paper in 2010. Now, 2020. Now, environmentally friendly or not, the condition is a major risk for investment for public investors. And COVID-19 creates a new social order that also requires new demand on the building, avoid congestion, reduce contract opportunities, and human distance. Discussion 2, investment value of the green building. Economic premium reflect users' expectation of the cost-saving effect. Why market attendant pay the additional cost for construction? Even if they have to pay a higher rent, there would be no significant additional burden due to the decrease in the environment-related expenses. In this case, the tenant can pay additional cost, or a building owner can pay the additional cost for zero-energy buildings. That's why we examine investment in green building. We need to consider direct benefit, such as the ability to increase rent and the other prices due to cost-saving effect, separately from other issues. Constructing green building requires making a large initial investment in order to provide the intended green futures. So, this is the image to generate the economic premium from the green building. In order for just a minute. Okay. In order for buildings to have an economic premium, it must recognize whether the building is a green building with market participant, building owners, tenants, developers, or builders. Green certifications or green building certificate play an important role for market participants to determine whether the building is a green building or not. This figure expresses the image that green certification creates the economic values. This is a green building certificate. Market attendant, market players can understand this building or is a green building or not. However, property prices and property rent is consisted by the various factors: location, area, or size of the building, or age of the building, and the specification, and is automated security system or not, and the timing of the contract. So we have to control the various factors to understand the pure effect from the green buildings or zero energy buildings. We usually use hedonic approach to understand the price impact from the specific futures. This method to estimate the price of the product by using the statistical technique of the regression analysis. And we can control all the buildings are unique in location, size, age, facilities, and functions. We can control the location, size, age, and facilities and functions using this technique. So we can measure the influence of the green building certificate on the price and rent to remove the rest of the effect from the properties in using the hedonic approach. This is a equation of the hedonic modeling, the case of condominiums. P express the prices, new condominium prices, condominium I during J, time period T. So this condominiums, building I during J, unit J, and traded in period T, with this price expressed by a green label of the condominiums. Condominium labels added to the condominium buildings. X is a characteristics of the buildings. Age of the building or age of the dwelling or unit, and a size of the dwelling of the unit, and the age of the building, and time to the nearest station, time to the central business district, and so on. And E is the location characteristics, and average income level, and education level, and so on. HH express the buyer characteristics of the condominium I and dwelling J, and it includes the incomes of the household. So this is the regressions. Equations. Case of the rent. This is the rent or prices can explained by the building area and number of the floors and the typical floor area. This is it means the size and the building age and the individual air conditioner system or not, and automated security or not, and beta 9 affected to the green building certifications, controlled by the location and timing of the contract signings. This is a fixed effect for the location. This is a time effect. So in estimating the hedonic equations, we can understand the economic premium from the coefficient of the beta 9. Okay? So if we can create we can find, or if we can create the economic premiums for green building in the market, we can create a good cycle for society. Building owners recognized the benefit, improvement from the improvement of the income from real estate, and a greater motivation. That if in this case, he has a greater motivations to develop the green buildings, and they try to expand the green buildings in future. And the corporate tenants understands more choice of the quality spaces. They pleased to pay the additional rent or prices to green buildings, present work environment, better corporate image and brand image. If they can get good workers or retaining workers, appealing to job applicant, and improvement to the product, and as a result, they can improve the productivities. Corporate or tenant can pay additional cost for zero energy buildings. In this case, market or society and offering the quality spaces, reduction of the environment burden in the urban area, and we can achieve the sustainable economic growth. So we'd like to make this cycle to understand the economic premium from the zero energy building or greening building. Against the background of the growing momentum, green label systems have been attracting attention as they lead to improvement in the environment performance of the actual product, services, and assets, and its realization of the maintaining of the improving society and sustainability of the society as a whole. Okay, in the real estate field, since publication of the BREEAM in the United Kingdom in 1990, it is the first green certification labelings, and it's embedded this and several other assessment systems have been published, including the REIT in the United States, HQE in France. In addition, a pension fund group in Europe founded GRESP to assess the real estate companies and consider the sustainability between the investment period. And the BREEAM and REIT and HQE added the green certifications to the individual buildings. GRESP added the green labels for fund, not buildings, total fund. And in Japan, environment value assessment systems have also been introduced for many J-REIT, Japan Real Estate Investment Trusts, and they can be seen spreading around the world since introduction of the CASB in Japan 2001. So there are several incentives to get a green certification system or the mandate from the public sectors. In the United States, acquisition of the REIT obligatory when construction and renovating federal government-related buildings. In many local governments have imposed benchmarks from Energy Star and reporting obligations. In United Kingdom, since 2008, practically all buildings must be certified by Energy Performance Certification, or EPC, when they are being purchased, sold, constructed, and leased. From 2018, it will become illegal to lease real estate whose energy efficiency does not reach a certain level. In Japan, we have several green certification systems, and it is mandatory to report greenhouse gas emission above a certain scale based on several laws. We devised the Act on the rational use of the energy in 2009, and the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, and released several regulations to the companies in 2008. And in April 2016, Japan enforced the Act on the improvement of the energy consumption performance of the buildings and imposed the obligation on large-scale non-residential building to conform to energy consumption performance standard. Maybe public sector in Japan will give us same obligations to the residential market. However, conversely, although Japan has established incentives towards displaying the energy performance of existing building, it's a big problem in Japan now. It does not have an enforceable mechanism like the United Kingdom. And the speed to improvement to spread with a green certification system, there is several reasons in Japan. a social system incorporating environment consideration in Japan, including in its real estate market, has already come into existence. During the 1950s, during the high economic growth after the World War II, Japan was suffering from the environment pollutions. I born in 1967. I and my wife is the same age and the same county. We born the same county. Our home county is in the mountain area. However, we are suffering from the health problems from the air pollution. Maybe Chinese is facing the same situations now. Chinese or China and other East Asian countries are facing the same situations. It's a social problem, and at that time, the Japanese government started to regulate for energy consumptions. In 1917s, we had an oil shock. Japan has passed a policy calling the energy conservations. We call it shoene. Further environment considerations would not necessarily lead to market differentiations. Building constructed to high specification in recent years are implicitly meeting or exceeding environment standard, even without green labeling. And we had a large-scale disaster in the past, and we had a big earthquake every decade, 10 years. And the earthquake proofing is given the highest priority in the building industry or social. So we think it would be an important policy issue to consider how we could improve the environment functionalities of such pre-existing buildings. Many older buildings are neither seismically secure nor match the standard of the green building. It is important to present reliable analytical results on the existence of the economic value for certified pre-existing buildings in the market as green. If the owner of the pre-existing building, understands the economic premiums from green technologies, so they will have a motivation to improve their old buildings. So we tried to estimate the economic premium from the eco-friendly buildings. I was a chair at this project at Japan government in 2010. At that time, I surveyed a lot of the green certification system in the world, and in United Kingdom, United States, and France, and Netherlands, Australia, and so on. If you are interested in these informations, please ask the organizers. Please share my slides to attendants, and please send an email to me. I will share my papers related to these topics. Okay, discussion 4 and 5. This part of the heart of my presentations, economic premium in property market, residential market as discussion 4. The residential sectors has attracted a much smaller number of the academic studies. And despite its large size of the obvious relevant for both the general economy and sustainable development, the reason for the lack of the empirical evidence are not clear. Larger fragmentation of the investors and the lower fraction of the professional and institutional investment in the market driving the discourse around green value may be contributing the factor. Housing markets are highly regulated or prone to inefficient in many countries, especially for European countries. There are several researches in this field. They reported the increasing energy efficiency and increase housing prices, but we found the 30% economic premiums or higher rent for buildings that have adopted energy saving measures. France first, Cambridge University found the 40% premium in 2012. Earlier also found the significant premiums for more energy efficient buildings. And the Kahn 2008 and the Kahn 2012 and found the significant price premiums. And also Lee and John Quigley 2012 also found substantial economic returns to the green building in Singapore. Professor Yong-Hen Dan, first author of these papers, he is my former boss. He was the dean at the Department of the Real Estate or Institute of Real Estate Studies at National University of Singapore. When I was working at the National University of Singapore, and I was collaborating with him related to this research. And Koch and Kahn, as well as the Highland, reported the similar conclusions in California and Irish. So Japan and United States, China, Irish, and found the same positive impact. France first, and me focus on the Tokyo condominium market in 2016. This paper published from the Good Journal. And our paper focus on the Tokyo Metropolitan Government green labeling systems. And green labeling system on condominiums established in 2002, devised in 2005 and 10. This is mandatory for the new construction and major refurbishment to organize the publish information based on building insulation, energy efficiency, and performance, and lifespan extension, and greening of the building. We have a whole measures, and the evaluation result of the respective items are expressed as the number of the stars, max 3. So in this case, it is easy to understand for buyers. Buyers does not have enough knowledge about the building. However, they can count of the star 1 to 3. So this is the estimation models. But, this model 1 is a base model, and model 2 considers the cross-term effect by time. And model 3 added the household characteristics here. This is the estimation result. So we use the asking prices and the transaction prices in both. Asking prices are priced by the sellers or builders, and the transaction prices this is decided by consumers or market. Okay, we can find the 6% premiums from the asking prices. Okay, developers or builders hopes to get the premiums, 6% premiums from green building without non-green buildings. Okay. However, consumer discount 0.9% from the asking prices or offer prices. In the result, the market gets 5% premiums for eco-friendly condominiums or zero-energy condominiums. From model 2, we can find the premiums in changing in time. In 2005, economic premium is 4%, 2006 is 2.8%, and 2007 rated to around 6%, and 2008, 8%, 9 is 9%. However, after the financial crisis, the economic premium dropped to 4%. So we can see the we can see the economic premium was changing in time. However, after the financial crisis or shocks, premiums dropped in Japan. From Model 3, we can see the differences, economic impact from the different type of the household. Quarter 1 is a lower income group in household, and quarter 4 is a rich group in the household. You can see economic premium from the lower income or poor group is at 1.5%, and this economic premium is increasing to the rich people. Rich people can pay the more economic premiums here. In conclusion, in the residential market in Japan, compared to non-level properties, level buildings commanded the premium of the 6.09% for the base asking prices and 5% premiums in the base transaction prices or consumer could pay 5% premiums. Premium appears to rise over time, exception 2010 or exception after the Great Financial Crisis. Green asking price premium are found progress in increasing income groups from 4% to 8%. The average price premium observed in recorded transaction prices is mainly driven by household with above average income paid for green labeled properties. Next, we focused on the commercial properties. So, investors usually ask us why economic premiums generate in the market. I think that there are several causes. Possible cause 1, social consciousness. Social consciousness, consumer pay premiums. We found from the Shimizu, 2016 papers. And a high income group, especially for the high income groups, socially conscious group, whole green market or green low carbon societies. Social conscious firms pay premiums. Einholz, Koch, John Quigley, and reported about these premiums. And possible cost 2, energy cost saving. The cost and efficiency of the building can be associated with a high price. And possible cost 3, building cost add. Developers may increase price for extra cost. Therefore, they added the cost, these cost on price or rent. So, Yoshida from Penn State University in United States, Onishi, who is my PhD student, and me, who ran the several regressions in 2017 papers. And the first model, ZIJT, is the energy consumptions and electricity usage or water usage, and try to explain by green label what characteristics of the building for size of the building, age of the building, and so on, and cross-term fixed effect of the regions and fixed effect from time. And model 2 focus on the rent. RIJT is a rent, contracted rent, and the controls try to explain by the green characteristics of the property and other region effect, cross-term effect in region, and time effect. This is the estimated result from model 1. we can see negative impact from the green level for electricity usage and water usage. Okay, this is a 5% statistically significant. So findings: sustainability features or green levels are effective in reducing of electricity and water consumptions, and the green building features contribute to the actual reduction of the consumption of the electricity and waters. And this is the estimation result from the model 2. We can find the economic premiums from model 1 and model 2 here. However, as a 5% and 10% statistically significant. However, model 3, 4, 5, 6 economic premium disappeared. Model 3, 4, 5, 6, we inserted the electricity usage and water usage, or both here. In this case, green premium disappeared in the rent market. Findings: a rent premium is associated with a materials benefit in energy and water cost. When the usage of the electricity and water is omitted in the rent estimation models, green levels have a significant positive effect on office rent. However, when the usage of the electricity and water is included to the model 2, their coefficient or office rent premiums coefficient as significant. These coefficient for usage of the electricity and water significant, statistically significant, but significant on green levels become insignificant for office rent. Green levels indirectly affect the office rent through the electricity and water usage. So, in conclusion of the office commercial market, one of the few stories on the actual use of the energy and the water, we try to understand the relationship of the energy consumption and economic premium in the market. Green building characteristics are effective in reducing the electricity and water consumption. Green building characteristics have an indirect effect on rent through electricity and water consumption, but not a direct effect. So let's turn to sustainability in the market, property market. This is the final topics and future works for me. What is the sustainability of the properties? What is the ESG risk? On March 11, Japan 2011, Japan was attacked by major earthquake. Among other things, this generated awareness of the fact that in order to sustain property values, it is necessary to adopt strong measures not only in terms of the earthquake proofing, but also with respect to the water damage, soil liquefactions. So IPD or Investment Property Data Bank, the IPD spreads to countries to give services in 35 or more countries in the world for the to measure the performance from the investment properties. I was a technical advisor or academic advisor at the IPD until 2010. IPD head office is in London. At that time, IPD established a new certification system. Global. At that time, we called it the environment code. Now, Global estimate measurement hall occupiers. This is the 10th edition. I don't know this edition in details. I know very well know the just first edition published in 2010, maybe 10, 8 or 10, 8 in 9 or 10, sorry. And this measurement or this code is measuring from general with environment management system and energy consumption, water, waste, transport, equipment, and applicant health well-being, and adaptation to climate change. So their core measure, we selected the 3 core measures, energy, water, waste, to understand the sustainability in property investing, okay? And the qualitative measurement, transport, equipment, and applicant, health and well-being for workers, and adaptation to climate change. Maybe there are no earthquake in United Kingdom or France or as a major part of the European countries, so they could not need to care for the disaster from the earthquake. However, Japan usually have a large-scale earthquake every decade or every 10 years. So we had to attention for the earthquake proofing and flood and energy consumptions. This is a priority for Japanese. Now, first we have a priority for the earthquake proofing. We are constructing the standard for the earthquake proofing until the 1980s. And after the 2000, we started to care the attention on ESG or environment, especially for environment. Recently, we are focusing on the governance. After the corona shock, we have to pay attention for the healthy on the workers. This is the governance in the investment criteria. And stage 3, in future, we have to pay attention to the adaptation of the climate change, especially for flood risk. In 1923, I'm living in Tokyo, okay, now, and in 1923, we had a big earthquake, Great Kanto earthquake, occurred on September 1, mainly in southern Kanto area. Kanto area means the Tokyo metropolitan area. It killed 105,000 people. Japanese government forecasted we will face same level earthquake within the 30 years. The probabilities is 70% or more. We will have to prepare the large-scale earthquake. And we had a great Hanshin Awaji earthquake in 1995. On January 17th, I married in the 1994, and I had a responsibility for the construction of the subway system in Kobe cities. A major earthquake struck near the city of the Kobe, Japan, killing more than 6,000 or more people and making more than 45,000 people homeless. I had an appointment at the Kobe city government, and at the 10 a.m., this earthquake attacked around the 5:45 a.m. If this earthquake attacked 5 hours later, I can't make the presentation here. Maybe I passed away by this earthquake. My friend, a lot with my friend, passed away this earthquake by the fire. Major part of my friend passed away by big fire, and we had a big damage highway system, and we also had a big damage for wooden building. Not only the wooden building, but also the reinforced concrete building. And we also had a big earthquake in 2011. Great East Japan earthquake is a disaster caused by 2011 of the Pacific coast of the Tohoku north area, and occurred on March 11, 2011. And accompanying the accident of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, due to the tsunami and fire, more than 22,000 people were killed and missing in the 12 prefectures. Our Japanese remembered. Turkish kindly supported us. Many thanks for your support during this period. So, discussion 6. Resilience from earthquake. I spoke, we had a big earthquake in 1923, and so we changed several laws based on the big disasters. In 1924, amendment of the urban building law added the horizontal seismic intensity to 0.1 or more close. And after the World War II, we changed the law system. In 1950, urban building law abolished and enforcement building standard law. Okay, and in 1970, amendment of the building standard law strengthens the necessary bearing wall. A lot of people died by the wall in the by the earthquake. Okay, so in 1981, amendment of the building standard law, we installed the new seismic design method. We all had a great Hanshin earthquake, 1995. So 2000, amendment of the building standard law, the concept of the performance regulation is introduced. And the limit strength calculation method is recognized as a structure calculation method, in addition to convention calculation of allowance stress. So, private sector develops a new technology to prepare a big earthquake, seismic isolation building. Stats Corporation is which is a representative developers in Japan, develops a new technologies. The earthquake resistance structure has a direct connection between the ground and the building. The seismic isolation structure has a seismic isolation device between the ground and the building. Here, the shaking of the earthquake is not transmitted directly to the building. Earthquake shaking is reduced from 1/3 to the 1/4. The earthquake resistance structure has 2-3 times the shaking on the top floor. If we have a time, I would like to introduce to you by movies. The seismic isolation structure does not increase the shaking even on the top floor. This is the outline diagram of the seismic isolation structures. Seismic isolation structure has an underground floor to install the device. I'm an academic advisor at Stats Research Institute. Stats Corporation started to collaborate with Turkey. And they said, and they would like to export this technology to Turkey. And now they are collaborating with expert on the architectural engineering Istanbul Engineering University or Istanbul Institute of Technology. I forgot his name. And he made this map. This map indicated the risk level from the earthquake seismic zone. So major part of the Turkey is facing the same situation with Japan. And I would like to collaborate with you to prepare the large-scale disaster in future. So, discussion 7, adaptation to climate change. And recently we had a heavy storm or heavy typhoon or heavy rain. This year, we had a heavy rain in July. Heavy rain attacked the south area in Japan, Kumamoto area, especially for the Kumamoto area. The total number of the houses damaged by heavy rain was around 600, and the total number of the houses was around 8,000, including the initial above or below of the floor and the partial damage. Okay, and the IPD Environment Code suggested to cure the flood risk. There are several research related to these topics. So, and these papers found the impact to the property market. And Japan is facing the flood risk from the river, not sea. So, government reported the sea expected flood levels. Blue part of this is the Tokyo metropolitan area here, Tokyo special district here, and Tokyo prefecture, and the Kanto area, Tokyo special metropolitan areas. There are 40 million people are living in this area. 40 million, yes, 40 million people. Yes. I plotted the property prices here. We ran the hedonic regulations with expected flood. We found negative impact from this exercise. Okay. In conclusions, we humans have common serious problems such as global warming and climate change. The construction sector has a large role to play in addressing these problems. In addition, we are at increase the risk of encountering the major disaster, earthquake, heavy rains, wildfire, and so on. Many of my friends have been killed by Hanshin Awaji earthquake, East Japan earthquake, such these disasters. The evolution of the building technology can save many future lives. We can improve our building technology by cooperating internationally. I would like to collaborate with you to prepare the large-scale disasters. Thank you for your kind attention. That wraps up my presentations. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Hiro, thanks for your presentation. Also, I thank you. You are in the time limit, 1 hour, as we talked. It's quite important. We have learned a lot of things. You have mentioned many important points, like green buildings, earthquake, energy efficiency. And I would like to say, as you know, because of the COVID case, the education also in the universities are all online now. So as you're a professor, while I was listening to you, I felt myself also like a student again after so many years, and I learned a lot of things. As you also mentioned, Turkey is also in earthquake zone. We are a quite big earthquake country, and this is a quite important issue for us. We had also several big earthquakes in the past, One of them was in 1999, Gölcük. Then after that Gölcük one, 3 months later, there was another big earthquake in Düzce. And I was also catched up that earthquake like you while passing through. And for the first time as a civil engineer in my life, I felt that this is really a serious issue. This is one of the biggest things that a man can face in his life. Well, for the audience, I would like to once again to mention if they would like to ask questions to Mr. Hiro, please write us through comments on the right of the screen, either English or Turkish. We will translate it, and you can ask the questions. Before starting the questions and waiting people to write some down, I would like to make also to confirm you. I'm returning back to our subject, the green buildings today. I took my notes like that. The green buildings, the initial cost is a little bit higher. Yes, it's true. You should invest some of the cost. But you have also proved and showed us that once you build it up, there are so many articles that you can get more rental value, and also the value of the building is much higher than exactly the same buildings in the same area, same building and everything. So could you please once again confirm if it is true for green buildings? Because it is important. The people would like to hear this from you. Yes, it's true. The green buildings has a more value than the normal buildings.
Okay. I'm sorry, I can't catch your voice clearly. Maybe your question to identify the green building or not. Is it true? Is it correct? How can we identify?
What I was saying, the value of green buildings are higher than in rent and the value when you compare with the normal buildings. The initial cost is higher, but it can repay it back to the investor.
Yeah, maybe there's various reasons to have economic premium in greening buildings, and so first, we have to start to developers or building owners started to add the economic premium to the market based on the high cost. High cost, they have to get the big economic benefit if they build the green building using with the high quality energy systems. So they have to add the economic value for asking prices or asking rent. And next, market attendant, consumer or tenant recognize the green premiums or benefit from the green buildings or zero energy buildings. It is easy to understand zero energy building can save the energy cost. It's a direct benefit. However, we need to pay the more additional cost to use to build the zero energy building. We have to understand the more economic premiums. So maybe there are various reasons to pay the additional cost by tenant or owners. So it is our future works to identify the reasons who pay the additional premiums in the market. Yeah.
Okay.
We have a question.
Second question will be. My second question, can you hear me? Will be about the COVID case. You know, there is a COVID-19 fact in the world. Most of the people maybe not believing it, but it is a reality. It's a reality. And more, I see around my people, even my friendship, they are willing to go to the nature and this kind of things more. So do you think from now on, the demand to the green buildings will be higher than past because of the COVID case?
Yes. Yeah, COVID-19 will require the new criteria for who holds the buildings. We have to control the congestion and air conditioning and so on. We discussed about this topic with the government today. Now it's around 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Japan, and we had a meeting, 3 meetings a day today. And government people requested me to control the congestion using the new technologies. We identify the congestion using the mobile phone data, staying data, and the IoT sensor with a green with a new technology with buildings. So this technology can also control the energy, because IoT sensor or other technology can identify the congestion of the building. Okay, so air conditioning system just work to this limited area. In this case, we can save the energy using the new technology, and we request to the distance between the people, workers, so it can control the infection from the COVID-19. So, we have to add the new technology for the green buildings. Now, we are just focusing on the energy saving and saving the waste and saving the water and so on. And after the COVID-19 shocks, we have to add new technology to hold the greening buildings. So, we try to develop the new technology to install the new technology office market in Tokyo in future, very near future.
I also expect the same, more or less, in Turkey. People will demand more green buildings after the COVID case. By the way, this question was, I think, it will belong to Sare Akyayla. I think we already answered her question. Her question was also, what challenges wait the real estate market after COVID-19? What we were expecting is the demand will be more and more for the green buildings, because there is a huge awareness according to the nature and to protect the nature.
Yes, I agree.
There is one another question from Yasemin Hanım. Yasemin Hanım is willing to ask, what should be the priority? Return on investment or disaster mitigation? Which is more important?
Yes, I think, I agree. Can I share my slides again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Please see. This is a attack here. Okay. Next.
Wow.
Next one. This is we installed the seismic isolation system here. This is a Red Cross hospital. Okay, and there are no damage to this hospital installed the seismic isolation system. Yes, so maybe it is easy to image, the priority. I think priority, earthquake proofing or resistance for the flood to save the life. I think this is the priority have a resistance for the earthquake or flood risk, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. One last question, Mr. Hiro. Do you think you have experience not only in Japan, also in other countries, USA, Great Britain? Do you think regulations or subsidies from government is enough to investors to build more green buildings, or somebody has to do something?
Yes.
Do you think it's enough support from the government?
Yeah, thank you. It's a very good question. It's very good question. Yes, I was a professor at the British University of British Columbia in Canada, and I was working for 5 years. I also a professor at the National University of Singapore for 3 years, and I was an associate professor at the University of Southern California, United States. And I also worked at the Imperial College in London. And I lived in several countries. Of course, it includes Japan. And Canada has a good subsidy with the building, and Singapore too. And a green building express for the countries. However, subsidy to the green building in United Kingdom and Japan are limited. So, and the subsidy from the public sector is very, very important because green building, zero energy building has externalities, positive externalities. So, in this case, the talk of the green building is a short, but compared with social demand, government or public sector have to support to extend the green buildings. We need more speed to express the green buildings to hold the low carbon society. We don't have time. Yes. So please request to the public body, public government to support for the zero energy building or green buildings. Yes, it's my last comment or advice to you.
Okay. There is another question from Filiz Pehlivan. I would like to make a summary. Nowadays, this is also big discussion in Turkey, especially in big shopping malls, the ventilation systems, air condition. She wants to learn, in this pandemic situation, what is the situation in Japan? Because in Turkey, people are afraid. They are thinking that because of air conditioning in shopping malls, they can get the virus. Is it the same in Japan, or do you have some other systems involved in Japan to avoid this air ventilation system?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not expert on the engineering or air conditioning. However, I have a responsibility for the COVID-19 at the cabinet office. I'm using the big data from the mobile phone, and we are controlling the number of the people in the shopping mall. So, yeah, and staying time. In this case, we can control the air pollution infection for the COVID-19, we think.
Okay, so you control the number of people inside the shopping mall. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. There is another question. Halime Onaran, let me translate, is asking, is there any other methods for earthquake other than seismic isolation? And what is the cost of those methods? when you compare with the seismic isolation?
Seismic isolation cost of the yes. I heard from the start corporations, and we need 20%, 20%, well, 15% to the 20% with additional cost.
Sorry, how much percent?
15%. 15%. 15%.
15%. Yes.
Yes.
By the way, I can also answer this question as a civil engineer who has also a master of thesis on earthquake. There are, of course, some other methods than seismic insulation. But this is a big discussion, you know, how much value and seismic insulation. But mostly we choose seismic isolation for very important buildings like hospitals, governmental buildings,
Exactly.
which has to stay safe after the earthquake. For normal buildings, there are other methods which are more cheaper when you compare with the seismic isolation. Yeah. Well, we are coming to the end of our session, Professor Chihiro. Thanks to you today to join us. We really learned a lot of things, and I am quite sure the people who are listening to us has also learned a lot of things. You opened us a new vision. Thanks a lot for joining us. So I am closing the session today. Hope to see you in another sessions and maybe next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much.